I think for this episode, we can just do kind of like a general like season in review, like teams that surprised you, teams that disappointed. What's the future of this team? What's the future of that team? Like
just
kind of
anything
whatever.
that
Honestly,
comes to mind.
All right, boys, we're live.
Oh, we're live.
Oh, and we're rolling. Hello, everybody. I think I'll lead us into this
go for it.
Final edition of the Gridiron Lion for probably a few weeks because we will not have football, sadly.
We have
every
XFL.
Sunday.
XFL's an option.
Which is a great segue into the promotion for our new up-and-coming show, the XFL Recap. No. You have to pay me to watch the XFL. I'll watch cool highlight videos on YouTube.
I'll watch XFL over the USFL, but I'm also not going to go out of my way to watch either of them.
Yes. Well, with that being said, I'm Zach Rhoda, alongside my beautiful, always here, Casey Kreider, co-host. How's it going, Casey?
Try my best. It's going
and
well.
And then our producer, Jace Gibbons. We're back here on the couch,
can
all
we,
together.
Can we show Jace's haircut on camera, please?
No.
Please?
No.
I feel like... See, because Zach has shaved his head before. And now... If you haven't...
If this video gets 1 like, then we'll do a face reveal.
Hey, it was for the kids. $15 million raised for Thon, and... a lot of hair also donated by Jace.
I gave 10 of that.
You gave 10
of the 15 million. 10 of that was me.
$10 or
yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I don't think you have $10 million.
No.
But, yeah.
But I paid $10 to have my head.
So let us know down.
That was me.
Let us know down in the comments below what you think of Jace's new look. I will not be shaving my head anytime soon. Sorry.
Well, little do you know, that's your punishment.
Well, honestly.
I did honestly think about having that be the punishment, that you had to do no hair, don't care.
We should have. That would have been a good... Oh.
Yeah, but... Oh, man, then I gotta deal with that for, like, weeks afterwards.
So?
Yeah. That's what you
That's
get.
the point.
It's not meant to be temporary.
Yeah, no, I wish it was. Anyway. Continue, Zach. If you had anything else to add.
No, I'll bring you in now.
Oh, you want to bring me in? Okay. So, this is our final regular season episode of the Gridiron Line. We'll probably have a few shows over the off season, but we have to obviously recap the Super Bowl. Zach, I know, is very excited for that. We'll also just kind of do a general season review. Just kind of talk about whatever we want in terms of teams that surprised us, disappointed. If we want to talk about some of the year-end rewards, we can. I mean, just literally whatever now that the season has come to a close. But with that, I don't think we should waste any more time here, Zach. You've had, 10 days to think about it and stew on this loss in the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a great game. I mean, honestly.
Sit closer together. You look so awkward.
Oh, do we?
Come here. Come hither.
You see, you always tell us to...
Well, how it looks right now...
You need, like...
Is this better?
You need, equal ass-cheek distribution on the cushion.
Yeah, I know, that's the issue, like...
Yeah.
And then it's, like,
There you go.
aesthetically
Now you look like
pleasing on the
friends.
camera.
This is-
Closer.
This is how we've done it this way, like, every single episode we've been here.
No, I know.
Which, granted, hasn't been in, like, 8 weeks, but still.
Yeah, it's
like...
better right now.
You know,
No,
here
I
on the
agree.
Gridiron Line, we share everything. We share
Also,
camaraderie, a couch, and water.
You want that water? No, I was honestly going to give it to you.
I'm not going to cut to your thirds. I'm just staying on the one angle, so, like, it's better if you're just close to each other.
Okay.
Good to know. Yeah, I feasted like a king at Burger King before coming here, and this water is recovering, as is my voice.
Did you just have the commercial song in your head playing the whole time?
I did,
Water,
honestly.
water,
I was,
water.
tempted to, pull that up to start this episode.
I wonder how
You
many...
didn't have time
I should have
prepare.
sent it to you, after the Super Bowl, but I felt... I honestly was worried about your mental health at that point and didn't want to push you over the edge.
It was like 30 minutes where I was just
Yeah.
ugh. And then I gave one of those drunk uncle speeches where I got up in front of drunk uncle at the barbecue where I got up in front of all my friends. I'm like, you know what? I'm here with you guys. I am not letting this game ruin this night. And then Like,
it was funny.
And then, like, as the night went on, I still just kept thinking about it. I'm like, man, that really sucks.
It was funny. So we were both watching. We were texting each other back and forth during the game. But we were watching at different places. I was watching at my place. Where were you at again? You were at.
I went to a friend's
You were at this
apartment.
this big.
And then we went to P-Man's afterwards, and then Champs in the basement. But like everyone had gone home at that point.
I wanted to join you that night. But,
no, I even texted you. I said, I'm like, stay home, dude.
Yeah.
After that, everyone just wants to go home and call it a night.
Now that we are both of legal drinking age.
Yes.
2 of us at least.
Yes.
Not
Hey.
Not the hairless mole rat over there.
Guys, we got a comment from Jace Gibbons that says, "Wow, this looks exciting. I love watching Casey talk."
Shout out.
I've barely said anything.
We have 1 viewer.
I have barely said anything this entire. Anyway.
We have 1 viewer and it's me.
Thanks, Chase.
Let's go.
You know, if we had more advance notice we were doing this, we easily could have plugged this somewhere, but we
also have not posted on Instagram since November of last year.
Yeah, that's mostly my fault.
That is totally your fault. You were in charge of it.
I know.
I forgot we had.
Life got hectic. I'm not gonna lie. I'll try to post something from this episode. Either way.
All right, now.
Okay, so
we are hiring social media correspondents. You will not get paid, but.
And you will not get good content to work with, but you can do your job.
You will get something.
But you get the password to the account, and
that's true.
We'll tell you how we appreciate you, and we'll compliment you for your work. So you'll get a brand new password.
Don't log out.
Potentially.
Don't log out.
Or maybe the keys to a brand new account if we have to start a new one.
That would be something. Anyway, so with that being said, so as far as the game itself, I mean, it was a great game. Back and forth. There were big plays on both sides. I mean, both quarterbacks played out of their minds. The couple big turning points in the game, obviously the Nick Bolton fumble recovery for a touchdown was big. And then, obviously, the Chiefs in the red zone, what they were able to do with those fake jet sweep end-around type plays that just made your defense look silly a couple times, unfortunately. But, look, either way, with that being said, Chiefs won it 38-35. I mean, both teams showed out and showed up. Defense was really, for the most part, nowhere to be found, but the offenses were humming. Zach, you had a front row seat for everything that happened, and as the resident Eagles fan of this program, we have shared your, what's the word I'm looking for? We've shared in your glory and your pain, which there hasn't been a lot of pain this season, but there's a little bit of pain here. Talk to us about this game from your perspective, and I don't even know how much you remember of it in terms of like the general like big plays and stuff, but just
most of it.
I'll let you just take the floor.
It.
Take the floor here. This is your team. This is your Super Bowl. This is your show.
This is our show.
This is our show. But this is your
and
team.
This is a conversation. Yeah. So I don't want to go on for too long here. Just me. You feel free to chime in at any point.
No, I
will say this. Did I not say we were gonna lose this game?
No, you did.
Only one.
And you said it was gonna be. And you said it was gonna be on like some heartbreaking, like dumb fashion, and it was.
I knew we were gonna lose, but it didn't make it any the less heartbreaking because as the game went on, I started to think we were gonna win. Like when we come out, I missed like the opening first minute or two of the game, but I did see us score that opening drive touchdown. Started off hot, kept going. Defense just never got it together. Mahomes gets injured, and you start to think, oh, wow, like, this. If he's unable to play, like, what are they going to do? Chad Henne in the Super Bowl. I mean, the offense can move, but, like, that's the momentum spark that the defense is looking to get that they just could not find all game up until that point. Then, second half, Mahomes comes out, even better than the first half. Who knows what, like, superhero serum they shot into his veins. And then that man's literally making every throw known to man. Chiefs' offense can't be stopped. Eagles' offense can't be stopped. They're both just going back and forth, just delivering blows to each other. And then the final play... Let me just say this. If an Eagles fan says that we lost the game because of that call, they're wrong. No. You ask any player, any coach on that team, even the majority of Eagles fans, I'd say no. They lost that game because the defense just did not come to play how they've come to play all season. They finished third all time for most sacks in a regular season as a defensive unit, and they didn't register a single sack against Patrick Mahomes all game.
Yeah.
That right there is the outlier, I'd say.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, so part of it also, and I know this is something that was talked about a lot, and Philly fans, and honestly just fans in general, were trying to blame the loss on how bad the field was.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I mean,
people weren't falling all over the place. It's just
it definitely wasn't great. But that's also, like, I forget who it was that said it. I think it was Mailata.
They're both teams like, playing on the same field.
Yeah, so there's that's, you know, yeah, I could see how it hurts the Eagles a little bit more because it did seem to be affecting the pass rush, and obviously that's, you know, Philadelphia's strong suit on defense, but also, it's kind of Kansas City's too. So either way, I mean, looking at the game, though, Jalen Hurts.
Oh, dude.
He
earned that. I forgot to say, that's probably my biggest takeaway from that game.
That
for
Jalen
long
Hurts
term as an Eagles fan. I mean, he went and did what he did this season, but in the most important game of his career so far, and by far, obviously, this season, he literally went above and beyond and did everything he possibly could to win us that game. He had that one bad play with the fumble. That was bad.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, and that was a big play, obviously.
He also almost threw an interception the very next play.
I don't even remember that. But either way, I mean, that
I do remember that he had. Then after that, I was like, oh no, this is bad because it was like we lost the momentum, get the ball back. I remember he just chucked it into double coverage or something like that. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? AJ Brown can't just.
He can't do it every time.
Well, he had the one touchdown early in the game that was in double coverage.
But that was still a good throw. This one, it was like a couple yards in front. AJ Brown had to play. He like became a cornerback on that play. You literally had to just play defense and knock it down, I think.
But that was the thing about that game, Zach, is Jalen Hurts played the best game probably of his life in the Super Bowl. You know, you take that one touchdown away, but aside from that, he was incredibly sharp as a passer. I remember that, I mean, he had a couple huge throws. I remember the one late in the game down the sideline to Devontae Smith that I think set up the game-tying touchdown.
Oh,
that was a big one. And the one to Goddard on that 3rd and 14 or whatever that he brought in, and they were reviewing, and he brought it along the sideline. Like, there were just a couple of plays in that game that was like, oh my gosh. Like,
he was on the money for almost all of his throws. And then
you had what he did on the ground, too. Like
15 carries for 70 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's a record for a touchdown, or for a Super Bowl when it comes to rushing as a quarterback.
I think you're right. But either way, I mean, it was so good that that QB sneak play that the Eagles have been using all season is now probably going to get banned because it's like... But even, like, aside from that, like...
It's still going to be unstoppable. They're banning, like... They're calling it, like, the hiney pushing, or, like... I forget exactly what they call it, but basically the running back kind of, like, just pushing from... Yeah, the tush push.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, Jalen Hurts doesn't even need that. With our offensive line and Jalen Hurts, it's still going to be successful more times than not.
Yeah.
Even without the running back factoring into it.
Yeah, but I mean, my takeaway from this game was, I mean, obviously, starting on Kansas City's side, for Patrick Mahomes and this team that I think you can agree, Zach, is on paper not as talented as the Eagles in terms of just the depth they have, the players they have on offense. I mean, yes, they have Travis Kelce, who's one of the best offensive players in the NFL, and obviously they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, who I think, you know, his coaching and the way they schemed up those red zone plays. I mean, you kind of saw why Andy Reid is the red zone master with those plays that he ran in the fourth quarter to help give Kansas City the win. But, I mean, you look through the list of guys, and I mean, Juju, Jerick McKinnon, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney. I mean, these aren't necessarily, like, household, like, huge names, and yet, despite all that, and everyone was wondering, you know, what are the Chiefs going to do without Tyreek Hill? What are they going to do without Tyreek Hill? They won a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill. Like, that goes to show just how good this team is. And just how good this combo of particularly Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are. And I think we can safely say now that they're a dynasty. I think maybe we could have said that before, but they only had one Super Bowl win prior to this year. Now the fact they've been in 5 straight AFC Championship games, have 2 Super Bowl trophies, Mahomes has 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Is it 2 or 3 regular season MVPs? Either way.
2. That was just his second.
But I think either way, like, this team is definitely the new dominant force in the NFL. Like, unquestioned, I feel like, for at least the next couple years.
Oh, 100%. For the foreseeable future, they are the team to beat in the AFC.
Yeah. And just in the NFL in general.
For as long as they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid paired together, and maybe even beyond Andy Reid's years, if Patrick Mahomes just continues to be who he's been his entire career so far, which he hasn't really led us to believe otherwise, that team is going to be right up there at the top of the AFC almost every year, barring any injury.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's wild when you think about it, you know, with generally how much less help they had on offense than what they were able to do. But on the flip side of that, for the Eagles, I think... So, if you're a Philadelphia fan, I know obviously the Super Bowl was frustrating because you lost.
Yeah.
But, looking at it from the grand scheme of things, first of all, if I told you before the season started that you would have come within a field goal of being the champions of the NFL, I think you would have been pretty happy with that, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, going into this season, I wasn't even sure if we'd win the division. I thought we'd be maybe slightly better than the previous year, where we were a wild card team. That was a first-round exit. And even as the season went on, when we were undefeated for a while, I was still thinking, okay, like, this team looks good. Now we look even better.
Yeah.
And now we look even better. And then they just kept getting hotter and hotter and building more and more momentum. And then it got to a point where they were just... It seemed like nobody could beat them for a while. And then with the, like... Jalen Hurts getting banged up, they kind of started to stall for a bit at the end of the season. And then right when they get back to the postseason, they just start clicking again. Just blow out the Giants, blow out the 49ers. And it's like, defense, if you give up 38 points, I mean, what can you say about that? But even the fact that we still lost 38-35 and put up 35 points in the Super Bowl, I don't care who you're playing. Like, if it's a 3-point margin, and only one team can ultimately win.
Yeah. And I think, like, kind of bouncing off of that. Yeah, that too. But I think that's the thing, like, Zach, like, the fact that this was a really close game, I think there were so many people in the lead to this game, not most professional people, but a lot of fans, a lot of different people that were saying, oh, the Eagles have had a Mickey Mouse run to the Super Bowl. They don't deserve to be here. They're not as good.
I completely disagree with
this game proved that they
are the second
were just
best
as good.
Team in the NFL.
Deserved to be here. And honestly, like, I think going forward, like, you guys still have a really young core. I mean, a lot of your big players, like, you'll have to pay them eventually, but, you know, are on rookie contracts. I think you have, like, what, maybe the 8th most cap space I thought I saw of any team
here's
this
the
offseason.
issue with this team that this is what really bummed me out is, all right, offense, you're going to lock up Jalen Hurts, which is going to limit, like, that. There goes a lot of your cap space right there.
Yeah.
Because they're looking to extend him first priority as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Got him. I just read today, Miles Sanders, he's like, he really wants to come back. He's like, just bring me back.
I will say, he was terrible in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But
they didn't even really try and get him involved.
But he's had a good season, so yeah, I
bring him back. Offensive line, I imagine Kelsey will probably retire.
I don't know.
Although he hasn't yet.
Yeah, that's also... If he came back another year...
I think he would have done it by now.
Because you'd think he would have had it already planned.
That's true. If they won, I definitely think he would have retired.
Oh.
But I think there's a chance, like... Because I think there's a chance Philly could run it back next year and be in the Super Bowl again. Like, I'm not necessarily banking on it, but, like...
But here's the thing.
They've got a chance.
I'm going to get to that.
All right.
With the offense, if we bring back Miles Sanders and Kelsey comes back, we should basically have the entire offense returning, which is huge. We'll have a new offensive coordinator. We lost Steichen.
I know where this is going, though. Yeah.
Do you?
I think I do.
I was about to move into the defense.
Yeah, that's where I thought this was going.
Okay, yeah. But the defense, with how many dudes have expiring contracts and a new defensive coordinator, who knows what our defense is going to look like. Now, all those draft picks that we have are looking a lot better now. Like 2 first-rounders on top of...
Yeah. Oh my god, you guys have a ton of... I didn't even think of that.
I saw
so
CJ Gardner-Johnson, where apparently, like, we really want to lock him up. And that's good. That's you need to bring him back.
But you're also...
We're probably going to lose Bradbury because he's probably going to get cornerback 1 money, and we're paying Darius Slay that. And we signed him on a cheap 1 year anyways, like a prove-it deal. So that he proved it, and now he's going to go elsewhere. So we got that. We're going to lose Hargrave, probably going to lose Cox as well. Cox might just retire.
You think, I don't think Cox would leave, would he? I would think he'd retire.
I think he's retiring. Yeah. Because remember last season we released him and then brought him back on a really cheap 1 year deal? And we have Jordan Davis. We'll probably draft interior offensive line. Yeah, or interior defensive line again.
I was going to say Sam Malu's a free agent too.
Yeah.
I think, isn't TJ Edwards a free agent? Also?
Yeah, TJ Edwards, he'll probably be sought after.
So moral of the story is there's Brandon Graham is free agent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys on defense.
He's going to retire an Eagle, though. If anything, I could see him signing like a 1 year deal if he doesn't retire.
Yeah.
I don't know. The defense just has so many question marks. And it's sounding like we might actually hire Vance Joseph. And, hey, Brian Dawkins is advocating for him. So if
he's not a bad coordinator.
He likes him because he blitzes a lot. And he's like an aggressive defensive coordinator, which we haven't really had in years past. Because we've always sort of built our defense off of, we'll just get pressure with the front four.
Yeah.
Because they were just so damn good they could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, with Hassan Reddick, I'll say this. Getting that man... For as long as we have him, we're going to have a pass rush for these next couple years.
Yeah, no, he is turning into a stud. Like, he is really good. But, yeah, I mean, the fact you guys are losing... Well, okay, I'll get to that in a second. But I did want to touch on Jalen Hurts, because this was a year where, coming into the season, I think a lot of people, myself included, were kind of doubting, whether Hurts could really ascend and be that guy. And not only was he that guy, but he went well above and beyond that. Like, he would have won MVP if he didn't get hurt. I'm convinced of that. And honestly, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, I honestly think, and maybe this is recency bias, but after that Super Bowl performance, like, I don't even think it's a question that Jalen Hurts is at least
top 5.
A top 5, maybe even top 3, honestly.
I'm hearing a lot of people say that. I'll tell you what, right now, my top 5 quarterbacks, one is as of right now, with how the season just ended.
Yeah.
Number 1, Mahomes. Number 2, Burrow. Number 3, 4, and 5 is close. For me, it's like Mahomes at the very top, followed right behind by Joe Burrow.
This is where I put Hurts, though. I honestly think he's number 3. I'd put him over Josh Allen with how they played this year, personally.
Down the stretch, too. Yeah, I don't want to hear what you said, because I would put maybe Hurts at 3. Then there's Josh Allen. And then you get the, 5, and it's like...
I don't even know who to put you could say Aaron Rodgers, but he's like...
He's, falling out of that. I'd still put him top 10, but I can't put him top 5 anymore.
I actually don't even know who you put at 5. I'm thinking about this. Kind of hard.
Justin Herbert, no. He has the talent of top 5.
Dak.
No.
Daniel Jones, no. Honestly, that's actually kind of tough, because, Brady's retired, which I don't think he was even going to be in top 5 after last season anyway. I'm not... I can't say Trevor Lawrence. I'd have to still put Herbert over him. That's actually tough.
I like Herbert by default.
It might, honestly. Unless you want to ride with Kirk Cousins.
But the fact that we have to think this hard about it makes it...
Exactly.
Because that's the thing about the position of quarterback. You have to play into just their leadership and like all the other intangibles that go into it. And if you look at Jalen Hurts, the man has he's just been a winner his entire career.
Yeah.
And it's kind of similar to Joe Burrow, where if you look at like from high school to college to the pros, wherever they go, like just their presence in the locker room rubs off on all the players and is so contagious, just like that winning mindset and mentality. And then that, as a result, also, dudes want to come and play for you. That makes players more likely to re-sign because they want to be a part of that culture in that locker room. And that's the major difference between a dude like Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz. Where it's like Carson Wentz, especially when we first drafted him, no one doubted his physical capabilities. If you look at all of the biggest gripes, it ultimately came down to him just kind of getting in his own head and just... The turnovers then became a result of that, and just then the injuries too, which made him just get even more in his own head. And then look at him now; he's been a starter for 3 different teams now and benched by every single one.
Yeah, he's gonna be in the CFL by now. He'll be in the
XFL.
XFL.
I'll tell you what though, dude, he would light up the XFL.
Oh, dude,
It'd honestly be like when he was playing at North Dakota State. He'd just win the championship every year.
Yeah. But, honestly, that's a good point. Back to D2 football you go. Okay, one more thing I want to ask you, though, before we kind of move on. The fact you guys are losing both Shane Steichen and Jonathan Gannon. Nick Sirianni is obviously a great head coach. I think pretty clearly at this point. I mean, with what he was able to do this year. We'll see if he's, still just as successful without having Steichen and Gannon, who are now Steichen's in Indy, Gannon's in Arizona.
I'll tell you what. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think it definitely won't be the same impact as after the previous Super Bowl when we lost all the coaches, where you could just tell our coaching staff just got decimated and wasn't able to recover. Because the problem, it also came down to, I think, us not really having enough time to do a thorough offensive coordinator job search. Because do you remember the whole situation where McDaniels was going to go to the Colts and he last minute backed out?
Yeah.
So then they got Frank Reich out of nowhere, and then that gave us no time at all to kind of figure out. So we had to just resort to promoting in-house.
Who even was your coordinator that next year? I forget. I know, wasn't Jim Schwartz your DC?
Yeah.
He
was our DC throughout the Peterson years.
But I forget who. I don't think I even want to remember who your.
I'm blanking on it.
Either way,
I just blacked it out of my memory.
Yeah.
Just because it was so. Oh.
I kind of want to look this up now.
Yeah.
But continue on.
I'll hear his name and I'll be like, oh, and I just remember then, but right before we fired Doug Peterson. They're like, all right, even if we keep you, Doug, we're doing a complete staff overhaul. What do you want to do? And he's like, oh, I want to promote our QB coach, Press Taylor, who is working with Carson Wentz after Carson Wentz just fell off a cliff. And Mike Groh. That dude sucked. Yeah, he was terrible. He was the wide receiver coach. And then we promoted him. And yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm glad I forgot about when he was our offensive coordinator. But anyways, I'll have to see who we hire as replacements, and it sounds like with our team and the directions going, we'll probably get some good hires. And I'll say this, though. I don't think either of those dudes are going to be good head coaches.
Really? I mean,
I do not.
I feel like they're kind of unproven.
I think Steichen has a better chance than Gannon. Just because I think maybe I have more faith in the Colts as an organization than the Cardinals.
I don't know if I do. I don't have faith in either of those organizations.
And that's the thing,
right now. That's the issue.
That's also not saying a lot because neither of those teams, I'm just like, oh. And it's very rare in recent years that defensive coordinators go on to be amazing head coaches. You have kind of like a few exceptions. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Saleh, he's been good.
Saleh's been decent, yeah. I think D'Amico Ryans is going to be
I think he's
good.
He'll be good for the Texans.
He'll actually be like the first competent head coach they've hired in like 5 years. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting because they're both going to situations where there's just so many question marks, be it in the front office or be it with quarterbacks or with basically anybody they have on their teams. So I don't know. That might be a little rough, but we will see.
We'll wait and see. Yeah. Do we just want to wrap it up?
I was gonna say, do you want to go to 10, Jace, or do you have to go?
We are at 30 minutes right now.
I will leave it up to you. I will leave it up to you. I'm honestly, we could, if we want to just...
I don't have any more to say on the Eagles. I mean, I could literally talk about the Eagles for another hour. Yeah. But, like, I feel like this is a good... Yeah. What are you going to say?
Okay, so do we want to just, like, kind of touch on kind of teams as a whole, or not, like, for free agency, but just, like, who kind of surprised us, who sucked, who was good... We could go let's
just do maybe like 10 minutes. Just push it to 45 minutes.
Go till 10.
About
we'll go till 10.
Let's do 3 teams. How about biggest surprise team, biggest disappointment team?
I know my answer.
And then what's
both your answers? The same answer.
And then the third team. What's like a fun category? Biggest surprise, biggest disappointment. And then...
dang.
The Broncos.
In
a category all on their own.
Honestly, the Broncos probably deserve to be in a category on their own.
And then maybe like a team with like a team that like this season they didn't do well, but give them like 2-3 years because you think they're heading in the right direction.
Okay, I think... I think I have some answers there. I mean, so... Surprise.
Let's do like our surprises and then...
I mean, surprise I think was definitely the Giants for me. Like, I didn't expect any... I mean, I expected them to be okay.
Let's try and do different teams as well.
Okay. Oh boy, how are we gonna...
No, I
have an idea. But I
have a lot of ways I can go for these.
So I will say the Giants. I mean... Because you look at this team. I mean, Brian Daboll's a heck of a coach, obviously. One coach of the year, deservedly so. But it makes no sense how this team was that good. And they didn't have, like, an overly tough schedule, but they still beat a lot of good teams. Like, the Packers, I know they weren't great this year, but they beat them in London with Aaron Rodgers at full strength. They beat the Titans week 1 when the Titans were the defending 1 seed in the AFC. They beat the Vikings in the playoffs, obviously.
And the fact that they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
When going into this season, I was really high on the hiring of Dable. But with that roster and the lack of talent, I thought, even though it was like a promising rebuild, it still was a rebuild. I thought at best they'd get maybe 6-7 wins.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I didn't think they'd squeak into the playoffs.
And like they don't... I mean, the reason I'm putting them in this category and not in like the teams I think could be really, really good in 2 or 3 years is because I don't know if Daniel Jones is that guy. Like I feel like Daniel Jones could get exposed next year, honestly, especially if they don't bring back Saquon, which I feel like they will find a way to bring both of them back, but
they have to.
Yeah.
If they lose Saquon.
And they got to get some receiving help, obviously. I mean, they'll get Wan'Dale Robinson back, but like they need a couple other guys. Isaiah Hodgins is, I mean, a lot better than he should be, but like he's Isaiah Hodgins. So like they got to get some help there. But like it was impressive to see, and that defense like really showed up as well. So it was impressive to see just kind of how good they were. And finally, it's funny because the Giants have had like, I feel like they've had a lot more talented teams that haven't been successful in recent years. And this team, you look at it on paper, and it's like Daniel Jones and a bunch of Walmart employees, and yet they somehow make it to the divisional round of the playoffs with Brian Daboll.
It shows you the difference coaching really does make.
It's a huge difference. So the fact the Giants made it to the Elite 8, basically, of the NFL, I did not see that coming. But what was your surprise, Zach?
The Jacksonville Jaguars, dude. Ooh. Who thought they would... To be fair, that division, terrible. Worse than the entire NFL. But Considering the fact that they held the second overall pick. No, they held the first overall pick in the entire draft.
And had to survive Urban Meyer.
Yes, coming off that season. Second year quarterback. First year head coach with the team, Doug Peterson. He's won a Super Bowl before. I was bashing that man. I was his biggest critic. Yeah. And then they went and won the division his first year there. And they're only going to get better. It's such a young team. They're getting Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. I keep forgetting
More people are going to want to be coming over there now that team's actually, it's a Florida team. Great sunny weather. Got Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
A promising young up-and-coming quarterback. It's like there's a lot going on there to be excited about. And
yeah, there's a lot to like.
They probably will win that they'll be like at the top of that division for a couple years now with how all the other teams are looking.
Yeah, no, I agree. The Titans I think are a lot worse than they want to admit, and the Colts and Texans are already admittedly in a rebuild. So, yeah, Jacksonville's going to win that division I think at least like the next 3 years. And honestly, like I could see them at least challenging like the Chiefs and the Bengals next year in the AFC. I don't think they'll like come out of the AFC, but like I wouldn't be surprised if they put together a more like not like 9-8. Like I would expect them to be like 11-6, maybe 12-5 next year, be like a 3 seed and like challenge whoever they play, maybe make it to the AFC Championship game. Like they've got like a lot of talent on that team that's really starting to develop. I think they'll be good.
All right, now biggest disappointment.
Casey, you want to go first?
Yeah, just.
Well, I have 2 picks for this, and I know you know one of them.
I'll just say this. Both my picks were my Super Bowl predictions. So
yeah.
I'll let you go first, and I'll take the other.
Yeah,
I think I know which one.
Yeah, no, I would take the Rams because they were very disappointing, but I mean, I gotta take the Broncos because Jesus. Yeah, I never in a million years would have imagined how much of a dumpster fire this year would have been. You think, we finally got a real quarterback in Russell Wilson for the first time since not even Peyton Manning. Like, Peyton Manning's last couple of years sucked. But just, we had him. What else did we do in the offseason? I mean, we brought him in. That was a big thing. We had Randy Gregory, who we brought in. The defense still really young and promising. I mean, Patrick Surtain still was an all-pro corner, and on a team that sucked. Justin Simmons doesn't get nearly enough love, and we've got some really good young guys at linebacker and on the D-line, but oh my gosh, the entire offense just absolutely was terrible this year. Starting obviously with Russell Wilson and his inability to play football. I mean, like just every aspect of the game seemed hard for him. Our receivers were very underwhelming. Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy really didn't step up to the plate the way we needed him to. So I honestly don't know what we're going to do at that position. We honestly might draft somebody else this year because we kind of need somebody to fill that third receiver role at the very least. So we might end up...
Hey, man. We'll see what Sean Payton can do with this team now.
That's the thing.
Going from Nathaniel Hackett to Sean Payton, he may not have been your first head coaching hire choice, but at the very least, he's accomplished a lot throughout his career.
That's
and
true,
accomplished a hell of a lot more than Nathaniel
Hackett. That's the thing. Like, at least we know he, at one point, has been able to coach. Nathaniel Hackett... I mean, I think he was in interim somewhere, but, he was very unproven.
And that's the thing. Sean Payton retired. He didn't get fired.
Yeah. I do think, we're either doubling down here on a disaster or it's going to turn around. Because you bring in Sean Payton. You already have Russell Wilson, a big name who you brought in. Now you're bringing in Sean Payton. So you're upping the ante, basically. And if it works, great. You're going to be good. You're probably at least going to be a wild card team. And if it doesn't, everyone's getting fired.
He's after Russell Wilson now. It's how many picks do you guys even have?
Not many. But either way, yeah, I mean, I've made multiple rants about this team throughout the course of the year. I don't know if we need to hash back into all those, but all I gotta say is Russell Wilson better hope that Sean Payton can fix him, and this team better hope that Sean Payton and Russell Wilson can get their act together. Because if they can't, then yeah, that's an accurate assumption of the Broncos season right there. Yep, that's really all that needs to be said.
And I'll just say this: if Sean Payton, the supposed quarterback guru, can't turn around Russell Wilson, then you guys need to just
move on from him.
Yeah, as difficult as and probably impossible as that may be with the disgusting contract he signed him to, or the fact that what was that 5-6 years?
5 years.
And already in the first year of it, the team's like, oh, we shouldn't have done that. That's not a good sign. But you know what? Another team that was just a massive disgrace to football this season. You want to talk about a Super Bowl hangover? Oh my God, the Rams didn't have a hangover. The Rams literally died of alcohol poisoning. And I don't even know what... It was so bad that their coach was thinking about retiring even though he's still in his 30s.
Basically,
early
no, he is,
40s.
I think, yeah.
Late 30s. Aaron Donald probably has another 5 years at least of good football, but he's nah. Stafford, who knows? He has a neck issue or something.
Neck, elbow, everything.
Literally everything. He might never be a good quarterback again, dude. It's not looking good for the Rams. But you know what? They have Baker Mayfield, and he had one of the coolest moments of the football season when he came in after signing there off the waivers 2 days prior, barely knowing the playbook, had that awesome comeback touchdown at the end to win that game, and that was a cool moment. But that was probably the only cool moment from their season that I witnessed. Yeah, Rams are disappointing.
I actually think the Rams are going to be a little better. I think they'll turn it around next year, but they're also going to be they're going to have to rebuild at some point.
They just got screwed by injuries.
Yeah, they're going to lose Jalen Ramsey somehow, I think. So
yeah. All right,
we got 2 minutes for our last category here, so I'm going to make this quick. And this might be your pick, so sorry if I'm taking it. But teams that are going to be really good in 2 to 3 years, give me the Lions, dude. Lions were Dude, I would have loved to have seen them made the playoffs this year. The fact they knocked the Packers out of the playoffs was just a massive F you to Aaron Rodgers in maybe his last game as a Packer. That was so great. And I mean, they have a good young core there. And, Jared Goff's not great, but, you surround him with the right amount of talent, and he's playing, he can play at a very high level. And, dude, that team just loves Dan Campbell. That's all there is to it.
It's going to make Jason a lot of Pennsylvania natives happy.
Don't say it.
Dude, well, I was going to say the Lions are the first one that came to mind, but if I'm going...
God.
If I'm going with a
this
team...
is how we're going to end our season?
...that didn't make the playoffs... I'm not saying they're going to be world beaters and they're going to be popping off, but the fact that with a rookie quarterback in their rebuild year, it's kind of like the Giants where it was a rebuild year for them, which they don't go through that often, and still they were one game result away from squeaking the wild card. They're only going to get better with the young team, young offense. Yeah, give me the Steelers. Because you took the Lions.
Dude, that pains me. That pains me so hard. I started out the season with our pilot episode.
I'm a Kenny Heisman fan.
Literally listing off all the teams that are going to be better than the Steelers this year, and most of them were, to be fair. I mean, more than half of them were. They didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the fact
you didn't list off the entire list of the NFL teams.
No. I said they'd be 13th best in the AFC, and they were 8th, 9th-ish.
Better than you.
But, look, Tomlin one of these years is going to have a losing season. But I will give you credit. They
Not yet.
Najee Harris looked good at the end of the year. Kenny Pickett finally was like he was developing at the end of the year. They'll probably draft another receiver in the second round, and he'll become an all-pro.
They need to just,
So
bolster the O-line.
Project quarterback going to start developing. Is it within the 5-year span that you're giving him, or like?
Just wait until they unleash Brett Ripon on the world.
You just call him Brett Ripon?
I don't even know his name. Ripon.
Nah, dude.
He's still a work in progress.
It's more than 5 years. We got Mr. Unlimited up in here.
Yeah.
He's gonna be like Robbie Anderson. He's gonna change his name and he's gonna just completely. Did you read about
Chosen?
But it's the third name.
Dude, he sucks.
It went from R-O-B-B-Y to R-O-B-B-I-E, and now it's
like
just
the spelling.
Yeah.
He liked the spelling.
And now he's just like, nah, I'm chosen.
Nah.
And then all the people in comments are like, not by my fantasy team.
That's awesome.
He was chosen by my fantasy team.
Where's he gonna be playing next season?
It was in Dynasty, alright?
That's
him
good.
He might be on the couch next to us next year.
And that's what a lot of people are saying is like...
He wants to feel chosen.
Yeah.
As he goes into free agency and no one picks him up, he wants to feel something.
Yeah. Pretty much.
The go-to comment now whenever a player says something like that, everyone just says, like, start learning Chinese, buddy. Like, like that's what people are saying about... Did you hear about... This isn't even football. We're getting so off topic now. But I want to end the show on this. Did you see the Ben Simmons story where apparently some anonymous coach on the Wizards said that this exchange between Beal and Simmons was getting really pissed off because they were intentionally fouling him. They were doing a hack-to-shack. And he's like... You guys better knock it off. I'm just going to step up here and hit these free throws, and then you'll stop fouling me. And then Beal's like, I bet you like $5,000 that you won't hit these free throws. And Ben's like, make it 20. And he bricked the first free throw, and then apparently like shut up for the rest of the game. And everyone was just commenting like, Ben Simmons moment.
That's so awesome.
Oh.
I remember like Kobe doing that too. That's so funny. Yeah. So, who knew this show would end with Ben Simmons? Jace, before we go, now that you're back with us and have a lot less hair, do you have any final thoughts on what you'd like to say about this season in general? This show? And just anything in general.
I would just like to remind you that with your completely stacked roster, the Broncos still did abysmal in comparison to the Steelers with almost all rookies.
I wouldn't say almost all rookies. Some rookies.
Who was our best wide receiver?
Pickens.
A rookie.
Okay, yeah.
Who was our quarterback?
Okay, that's two players.
Najee's second year. He's
that's
young.
Two-thirds of an offense.
Second year. Basically, yeah, like all your starters on offense are like first.
How dare you disrespect the offensive line? No.
That's 2/3 of the offense.
And you guys had Mr. Unlimited.
We did. You're right.
Broncos.
So,
for the entire future of the Broncos franchise, you traded it away for Russell Wilson.
Well, we'll see if
who crashed the present of the Broncos franchise.
Hey, it's. I'm giving it one more year.
You shouldn't.
Hoping that with a legit head coach, he can do something. But with that being said, Zach, I think we've reached our end. I think it's time to wrap up this season of the Gridiron Line. It's been a great journey. We've been with you through all 18 weeks of the NFL season, plus more, plus the playoffs, plus right now talking about Super Bowl 57. I couldn't remember which year it was for a second. That was bad.
Well,
but
we'll be back in a few weeks once we actually have more football things to talk about.
True.
But we're not going to be doing it every week because literally what will we talk about?
The XFL.
No.
Honestly,
Ben DiNucci is going to take over the XFL.
I'm not doing this every week for the XFL.
The XFL might be over by the time we release another episode.
I have an idea.
If it's like last time the XFL was around.
What if we cover professional lacrosse and I teach you guys about lacrosse?
I have to call a lacrosse game at some point this year.
Well, there you go. We can watch the PLL and you can learn about the sixes, which is an actual field lacrosse.
All right, guys, we'll be back next week to cover the XFL.
And the PLL, apparently.
And water polo.
And fencing.
And come in the week after for cricket.
Maybe throwing some competitive marbles.
Oh, marble racing, dude?
Oh.
That's
big gambling.
That's the move.
We got all the sports here on the Gridiron Line.
Not just on the gridiron, but off the gridiron.
And when you tune back into ESPN 8 the Ocho.
We've lost all control of this show.
That's what happens when we come back after doing Zoom, and it's like...
That's true. It is...
We did Zoom for what, 5 weeks?
Oh, it was more than 5 weeks, bro. I don't think I've been here since November. Which is also the last time I posted on the Instagram.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I'll try to promo this a little better next year. But in the meantime, Zach, it's been a great run. It's been a great year. Sorry your Eagles fell just short. Would have been legendary if we have this show in the first year.
Don't remind me. It's literally been pulled up on that screen this entire episode. Even when I look at the camera, I see in the corner of my eye just a reminder right there.
Yeah.
Look at it.
It's been here this whole time.
Look at it. Look at it.
Yeah. Anyway, with that being said, it's been a great ride, Zach. I think just like the Broncos country, this is where it comes to an end on the Gridiron line.
I don't know where we're going.
I don't either, to be honest. But
you hit me with a little. That wasn't even like an explosion.
No,
that wasn't like
an explosion.
That was like a rock paper. That wasn't. It's like that's like an explosion. That was. It was like bump. Paper. It's like. Like you hit me with the whoa.
Can we just end the episode?
Yeah. All right. Let's just end this.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
For Jace Givens, for Zach Rhoda, I'm Casey Kreider. Thank you for joining us on the Gridiron Line all year long, and we definitely won't be gaining any more brain cells by the next time we do this. So just bear with us. But love you guys. Bye.